Hi, Lake Grove family. Pastor Greg here with the Monday Video Devo from the Reservoir. Still doing the Word-Centered Life, focusing on proclaiming the gospel with actions this week. And the readings remind us of real people and one church who did just that in the New Testament. Good works, good actions. These are slightly lesser known people, and the story we read today was about Tabitha, and I want to share just a few thoughts related to that story. First of all, in the church I grew up in, there was a women's group called the Dorcas Society, which we kids laughed about because we thought the name was silly. It sounded like a derogatory word people called each other in the old days. So when we became familiar with this story in the Bible, we chose to call this woman Tabitha because it sounded nicer than Dorcas. Both names mean the same thing, gazelle, but the Jewish, or really Aramaic name is Tabitha, and Dorcas is for Greek. Maybe she was speedy like a gazelle in doing the good works she was doing. Good works, that's what Tabitha, Dorcas, was known for. And that's what the women of the Dorcas Society did in my old church. Behind the scenes, they quietly did acts of service and support in and outside our church. They tried to follow in Tabitha's footsteps. The story of Tabitha starts out in a sad way. This good woman has died, and because of all her acts of charity and her good works, her sewing for many people in the community, she has many friends who are devastated by her death. Her good works seemed to proclaim God's goodness. But someone among them has heard that one of the followers of Jesus is not far away in one of the next towns, just 15 miles away. So they rush off to find him. It's the Apostle Peter, and he agrees to come with them. He goes into the room where Tabitha has been laid, prepared for burial, and he kneels down to pray. And then he speaks to the dead body, "Tabitha, get up." And she does. It's another miracle through which people come to faith, so this story has a happy ending. Now, why did Tabitha get healed? Was it because of her good works? No, we Protestants say reflexively. We're not saved by our works, and that's true, though as I read Scripture, our works do seem to play a bigger role in our relationship with God than Protestant theology likes to admit. So why did Tabitha get healed when others might not? Ultimately, we don't really know why God heals some and not others. But there are two details that speak into this mystery for me. First, it says that Peter goes into that upper room and prays. Period. He just prays. And then he physically turns and speaks to Tabitha and tells her to get up. It makes me wonder if his prayer was a prayer of discernment, trying to discover what God's will is so he can align his request with it. He didn't turn to Tabitha and tell her to get up until it was okay. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into the details, but that's the sense I got. And then he goes and presents Tabitha to the believers and widows. It wasn't just a general announcement to everyone, but those believers and widows then spread the news throughout their town, and many came to faith because of what they heard. So I think part of what Peter learned in his prayers was that this was an opportunity for God to be glorified and for the gospel to spread, not only through the word of the miracle, but because Tabitha could continue to proclaim the gospel through her actions, her good works. A happy Christmas to you. Is this the third day of Christmas? We're in those 12 days between Christmas and Epiphany. God bless you, and may the coming calendar year be better for all of us.